Welcome to The Modern Engineer, hosted by Syed Ishaat. This show goes beyond surface-level career advice, exploring how senior engineers and technical leaders build leverage, navigate complexity, and position themselves for long-term success.
Welcome to The Modern Engineer. I'm Syed Ishaat, and today I'm joined by Vijay Valaboju. Vijay, introduce yourself.
Hi, Syed. Thanks for this, the Modern Engineer podcast. Coming to myself, I have 20 years of experience all in software. And for past 10 years, I've been working with Microsoft. Pretty recently, I have launched something of my own. It's called Stunsy. And I'm the founder of Stunsy. It's a gaming platform.
Nice. Very cool. So Vijay is a senior software engineer at Microsoft. Let me ask you, how did you start out in your career? What does that journey look like?
Yeah, my journey is an interesting one. When I started, I was in bachelor of going back to my school days, right? I finished my graduation in computer applications, and this was back in 2001. And then after that, there were not many opportunities. I had to take a break in the sense from the computers studies and stuff for a year. Later on, I went ahead, finished my post-graduation, and then it was turn of the events for me. What happened is one of my friends from my college days, he came down to my hometown. I came from a very small hometown back in India. It's called Warangal. So he came to my hometown. He said hey, Vijay, I know your abilities in computer programming and you should come with me. So he took me with him to Bombay. It was Mumbai. It is right now, it's called Mumbai. And my journey started there. He introduced me to a lot of software professionals that time. And then I had to ramp up my skills and, learn new things and all of that. And eventually I got into, Accenture. That's where my journey began. I worked there for close to 3 years, and then I switched some other company, and later I landed at HCL. So when I landed at HCL, I was a technical lead, and by that journey, right, from the start of Accenture to HCL, it was already like 5-year, 6-year journey by then. And then I have learned enough skills. I was excelling at a lot of things. And my career trajectory was like this, going super high, super fast. They brought me up here in US on a L1 visa, and I got transferred basically from my home location, which is Hyderabad, to here in Seattle. And then, later on, Microsoft sponsored my H1B. And then, ever since I've been with Microsoft since then.
What are some challenges in your career you faced along the way?
Well, challenges are it's a very vague term in my opinion, right? You have to face challenges no matter what level you are in and what stage you are in, and how you take your things forward, right? And challenges come to you only when you are in not very uncomfortable space. This is my take, right? Otherwise, if everything is so comfortable, things are going fine, no challenges, right? And what that also implies is you're not growing, at least not fast enough, right? So challenges in terms of how to move my things forward, right? It's all part of learning, right? The things that appeared as challenges before, they feel like part of daily work, daily routines, right? For example, right, when I was naive, when I was totally new about how to take things to production and stuff, right, I was making some mistakes. And then what happens is that would impact people and that would impact the team and things. We all make mistakes and there is nothing to shy about it, right? And then the important part is, are you learning from them, right? So those are the things which are important. And when you learn from it, the thing that kind of appeared as a challenge before, it is no longer a challenge. It is like, you are an improved person, right? So yeah, I mean, challenges are quite a many, but I've been learning. And the current challenge, if you think like, what I'm facing right now is how to take my product into market. So that's the challenge have taken up. But then I have learned from it, and I think I'm making progress on that.
Very cool. So it's not always a good idea to stay comfortable. You have to experience uncomfortness in order
Yeah.
to persevere.
Yep. Absolutely.
Um, what was really the pivotal moment that changed your career trajectory? Was it like a project assignment? Was it like a customer meeting? Was it a presentation? What really catapulted your career?
So, for a journey this far, right? Things don't change overnight, right? It's a continuous learning that you do, right? But what has changed is the kind of people I've met, the kind of people I've worked with, right? So my perception got changed, like, as and when I've been working with this high impactful professionals, right? Like, after Accenture, when I joined a company called Singularity, now the name has got changed to Kofax. There, I met my, I could call him my guru in software development field. And when I started working with him, it was like, not a slow compartment that does not have any engine got tagged to a fast moving train, and the compartment also moves at the same speed, right? So it was that kind of a feeling what I got, and that kind of things like shaped up my career is what I could say, right? And ever since, like, that journey was so wonderful. I delivered so many things working with that person. He was my lead back then. His name is Lakshmipati Undavalli, right? I can call him up. So when I worked with him, I have learned so much. And then that kind of shaped my career for all these years and even today, right? And, after I closed that, I mean, when I moved out of that company and moved into a different company, everywhere I've been working, I was just following his style of working. And then, people they've literally felt like the difference of other people and the way I work. And I was making my career progress. Later on, like, I met more people. Like when I joined Microsoft, there is this guy, I would call his name as well. His name's Elton Carr. He is another amazing person that I met. And, it's again the same feeling what I got when I worked with Lakshmipati, the same feeling that I got when I worked with Elton. Now the speed has got doubled or tripled, and it's more of a clarity of thought that these people have brought into my life, which I literally feel like has shaped up my career. It's not just one presentation or a project, but I would give that credit to the people that I've worked with.
Very cool. The connections aided along the way.
Yep, totally. And I'm blessed for these people to be part of my life. There are other wonderful people as well, but these two people are, I feel like, the kind of people that kind of give me a positive energy, the positive vibes to be with them and then shape up my things.
Well, shout out to them.
Hell yeah, they deserve it. They totally deserve it.
This one is a bit of a open-ended question. How does someone listening achieve your level of success? And I know this may not have a single answer to it, but if you could give an idea of
Totally.
how does someone in the tech space get to your level today?
Well, tech space has become more challenging these days. Um, but the thing is, it's challenging in terms of the amount of things that you're supposed to deliver with the kind of tools that are available today, right? But then, guys, like this conversation began, right? If you are in a comfort space, you will never be able to grow. So you always have to be in that challenging space in order for you to grow, right? And you know, my advice, I don't know if it's like a one size fits for all, right? Every person has to figure out things of their own and try to deliver. Like, it's always under the assumption, coming from a background, from a small town background, back in India. I always doubted myself, like, this is a big world, big space. Why would everybody would give any respect towards me? Like, why would they care about me? As and when you grow, you have to believe in yourself. Yes, I am at that level like everybody else in this world, and there's no puppies too small, right? It's that kind of a feeling that moves you forward. And definitely, when you keep thinking in that way, things will manifest and things will shape up. This is my opinion, the way I look up my career, how I've been growing and all that.
Very cool. Well, it sounds like things are going for you very well professionally. And, when people reach a certain level of success, they start thinking intentionally about the future, things like flexibility, optionality, or even passive income to complement what they're already doing. Is that something you've thought about? I know you mentioned Stunsy. What's that like for you?
So, Stunsy is kind of a feeling that I get, like, I feel like I've been graduated from doing things and having a vision and delivering that vision. That's kind of a feeling that I have right now with Stunsy. And the reason why I call it that way is like, I have been building a lot of large scale systems, right? And some of the things are like, being used by millions of people. And, always have this dream vision of having things making an impact, a bigger impact, a worldwide impact, right? This is always my feeling. And to achieve this, right, you have to have certain discipline and you have to be ready to sacrifice on a lot of things. And like, your family time, there is no work-life balance and all of that. And it takes quite some efforts, but end of the day, when you see you're actually making impact, a bigger impact to the society in a positive way, right? All this is kind of a feeling like, yes, this is worth doing it, right? And it's not easy. I failed at quite a many attempts before I get to this level. And all these failures, I'm not shy of telling you, yes, I failed, right? Unless you fail, you wouldn't learn, right? And all these failures is what I feel like have become my foundations to go and figure out, yes, what went wrong last time, what it has to be correct this time, right? And it's a kind of a feeling, like, for us engineers, this is a feeling like, yeah, I developed a great product, right? Technically awesome product. And now, once I deliver it to market, people will start using it, right? Well, it's not the way it is, right? When you develop something, what happens is, yes, you did, but people have to know. Otherwise, these products are going to be like sitting there and nobody's going to notice about it, right? And then there is no usage. So there is other aspect of, like, looking at things, like, you deliver something is one phase and taking it to market is the another way, right? And I'm really glad, like, forums like this would actually help me reach out to people, the mass audience, and talk about my product. Those are the things what I'm focused on. And there are some high level people. The partnerships are in pipeline, they are in discussions right now. And Stunsy has also been selected at the Web Summit for Vancouver. And
Nice.
we are considered under a beta platform. The beginning level, the entry level is alpha, and beta is next level to alpha, which is like, roughly, when I did a market research, they would choose like 5 to 8% of people into beta. Out of those 18,000 applications, roughly, is what they would get. So, yeah, we are making some waves.
Hey, you mentioned something that's a big takeaway for the audience, and that I truly agree with. People learn a lot more from their failures than they do their successes. I think that's a big takeaway for the audience.
Yes, totally. And this is my take as well, right? If you're starting something, and don't ever assume like, this is going to succeed on day one, right? And be prepared to fail, right? You would be heartbroken and all of that, but learning comes from there. When you fail, that's when you learn. When you do not fail, everything succeeds. You still have to learn because you took something to the market, people saw it, but then the retention is the main important thing. People have to come back to it, right? So no matter what, this learning doesn't stop.
If someone listening is earlier in their career and on a similar path, what is something you wish you knew sooner earlier in your career?
Well, this is an interesting question to answer, right? Yes, until you are exposed to the certain environment, you wouldn't know, right? But then, some of the, not most, like, some of the people, at one point, I might be also in that category that this self-start is the key, right? So people who are in the space, they would always say like, yeah, if you tell me what to do, I'll figure out a way, right? And it always waiting on someone's instruction on what I have to do, how I have to do, what I need to do, all of these things, right? So instead, if those questions you take up on your own, not waiting from someone to give you instruction, like, how you deliver, what to deliver, and all of those are the pretty important things, is what I feel like. Go ahead, do some self-start. It's okay to fail. Come back and learn, and then do it all over again.
Definitely at least try before you even ask the question. Something I always bring up is it's called the cow versus bison theory. A giant storm comes, right? And that storm is the challenge. Someone can either be a cow and run away, hide, flee,
Right.
or they can be a bison and just charge at it,
Right.
take the
Yeah.
challenge head on.
I like that analogy, right? And something, this is not from me, but I heard this someone else saying this. Like, they say like, if something is not killing you, it is only going to make you strong.
Yes, that's a good one too. Well, VJ, I really appreciate you sharing your perspective today. I think it'll resonate very well with the audience, and appreciate your time. We'll definitely give a shout out to Stunsy, and thanks for listening to The Modern Engineer. I'll see you on the next episode.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Syed, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Modern Engineer with Syed Ishaat. If this episode resonated, make sure to subscribe and share it with others. And if you bring a unique perspective on leverage and long-term positioning, you can learn more about being considered for the show in the links below.